just yesterday we had two things that we did not work out. One is the validation, okay, displaying the message specific to the field, that we could not able to work out, that we will see today. Just we have seen that we have a login.jsp, okay. In login.jsp, if we submit the button, okay, first what it will do means it will check whether is there any validator configured for this controller or not. Do we have a validator configured for login controller? Yes, it is login validator. So it will go to the specific validator. First, in the login validator, it will go first for supports method. If supports method returns true, then it will come to the validate method. In the validate method, what I am writing the logic means, just if the username equals Ravi, if the username is not Ravi, then I am telling that username is not correct. Okay, if the username is Ravi, okay, if the username is Ravi, else, not Ravi. If the username is Ravi, okay, and if the password is not equal to some Ravi123, then what I am doing is password is invalid. Okay, so just this is my basic requirement, and what I do is just in login.jsp, okay, we need to give like this. Just after this, just let me write a CSS class. In the head version, let me write a CSS class. Just I am giving that color is red. So whenever there is an error message, I am displaying the error message in the color red, so that we can understand better it is an error message. Now it tells that if there is any validation error in username field, then it will display that error. If there is any error in the password field, then it will display the error. Okay. Now let me see how it happens. Understood? First, it will come to the JSP. Okay, in the JSP, we enter username and password. We click on submit. If we click on submit, okay, it will see first is there any validator configured for this login controller or not? Yes, a validator, login validator is configured. So it will go to login validator and it will execute supports and validate method. Okay, in the validate method, if there is any rejection, okay, then it will go back to the login.jsp. It will go back to the login.jsp. Okay, again, just it will populate the error message if any error message is there. Okay, now let me see how it happens. Now let me try to execute the application. Let me try to start the server. Where it is? The servers. Let me start the server. Let me go to login.do. It will navigate to login.jsp. Okay. Now let me enter a wrong username and any other password, any wrong password. Okay. Now what is telling? The username doesn't exist. The username itself is wrong. So it is telling that username doesn't exist. Let's consider like Ravi. Username is correct, but I am entering a wrong password. Okay. Now what is telling? This is not a valid password. Username is valid, but now the password is not valid. From where this message is coming means? Just from here. See the login validator? First it will check in the properties files. It will check, is there any error message like this? Okay, is there any error message in the properties file with the message key as this key? Okay, if the Spring cannot found this key in any properties file, then it will take the default message as this, the third one. Okay, this is the key of the message, right? This is the key of the error message. It will try to find this key in the properties file. If it doesn't find in the properties file, then it will take the default message as the third one. I can give even without the third one also, even without the third argument also. Now what happens means, okay, it will try to find, okay, error message in the properties file. Okay, it will try to find a message in the properties file, a key value pair in the properties file with key error.username.invalid. But do we have this in any properties file? No. So just it will give exception in the JSP page, just because we are trying to refer this key, but this key doesn't exist in any property file. Okay. Now let me restart the server. Okay, let me close the browser. Let me open another browser. Let me paste this. Now let me enter a wrong username, any other password. Okay, what is telling? No such message exception. Message undercode error.username.invalid login form.u. This message is not found. It's telling like this message is not found, just because the message that we have given, is not available. The message that we have given is not at all available in the properties file. Now, how we can configure the properties file in Spring? How we can configure the properties file in Spring? How we can configure the properties file in Spring? Forget everything? Props? See, props tag is not the thing. Props tag is a subtag of properties. But there is a class with which we can configure properties file in Spring. It's not the class. You are telling in a misplaced order, but it's not the exact class. That's how we are. It's a properties placeholder configurer. Okay, it's a property placeholder configurer. Previously we have configured the properties file. Okay, the property placeholder configurer takes the locations. But what the issue with this property placeholder configurer means? The property placeholder configurer, okay, is used only as a placeholder. The properties present in, okay, the key values pairs present in properties placeholder configurer can be used only as placeholders in the XML file. They cannot be used in the JSP files. The property files that we have configured in property placeholder configurer can be used only as placeholders in the XML file. Do you know what is placeholder? Do you know what is placeholder? Yes or no? No? Forgot? Even this also? Just, I don't like. We can use the keys of the properties file, keys of the property. Let's consider like a hello.properties. In hello.properties, do we have any key value pairs? In hello.properties, do we have any key value pairs? Yes or no? Yes. In hello.properties, if we have a key value pairs, and if this hello.properties is configured in properties placeholder configurer, okay, then we can use the keys as placeholders. What is the key in hello.properties we have? Let's consider like login URL. This login URL can be used as a placeholder in the XML file, so that at the runtime, Spring will convert this login URL into login.to. Okay, that's what a placeholder is. Just rather than giving the actual value, we'll give the key of the value. Okay, and the key value pair is defined in the properties file. Okay, but the issue with the properties placeholder resolver, configurer is it can be used. The key value pairs in the configured using the properties placeholder configurer can be used only as placeholders in the XML file. They cannot be used as messages in the JSP page. If you want to make use of the properties files to display some messages on the JSP page, okay, then we should go for another bin configuration, okay, which is called resource bundle message source. Resource bundle view resolver is different. Resource bundle message source is different. Resource bundle view resolver is different. Okay. Previously we have used resource bundle view resolver. What view resolver will do? Just it will resolve the view. Okay. View resolvers will resolve the views. Okay. But resource bundle message sources will provide you a key value pair. Okay. To display some messages on the JSP page. Just let me go for resource bundle message source. This resource bundle message source is used to configure the properties files, okay, whose messages can be used as messages in JSP page, okay, JSP page as well as Java classes. Resource bundle view resolver, what it will do? It will resolve the views based on the configuration in the properties file. If you see in Rajesh FN views, we have configured, was it deleted? We have configured some URL, login.url equal to some login.jsp, login.class equal to some JSL. See, in a resource bundle view resolver, what we'll do? We will resolve the view, okay, we will configure the logical view name to the exact view path in the resource bundle view resolver. But in the resource bundle message source, what we do is just we configure the properties file. Even the resource bundle message source also, we configure the properties file. Let me configure the properties file in the resource bundle message source. Okay, even it will take a property with name base name. If there is only one property file we are configuring, we give property name as base name. If we are giving multiple properties, multiple property files, if we are giving multiple property files, we will give the property name as base names and we will provide a list. Okay? If we are giving a single property, just we will give property name equal to base name, value equal to something. But in general, we prefer to go with a list itself, just because in future we may add the properties files. In future, we may add the properties files. So, always advisable to go for a list itself. The property name should be base names, and just we should provide a list, and we should provide a value. Okay, let me then learn. Sorry. One more thing is, whatever the properties file we are configuring with resource bundles, that properties file should be there in the classes folder. Okay? Whatever the properties files that we configure using resource bundles, whether it might be resource bundle view resolver or resource bundle message source, the properties files that are configured through resource bundles should be there in the classes folder. That means the class path. Okay? The resource bundle properties file should be there in the classes folder. That means the class path. Okay, then only we can access them. That's the first thing. Second thing is, while giving the value, we should not give the extension dot properties. Just we should give the properties name. That's it. We should not give dot properties. We should give just the properties file name. But if it is a properties placeholder configurer, we give the actual path where it is. Okay, wherever it might be, we can configure that. But for resource bundles, resource bundle message source or resource bundle view resolver, okay, the properties file should be there in the class path. That means in the classes folder. That's the first thing. Second thing is, we should not use the extension dot properties. We should just give the file name. Those are two things we need to care of. You just give the file name. And that properties file should be present in the classes folder. That means the class path. Okay? Okay, once we have configured this resource bundle message source, let me keep this properties file in the classes folder. Okay, if I keep it in SRC, directly it will go to the classes folder. Let me generate a new file. Messages dot properties, which will directly go to the classes folder. You see, messages dot properties will go to the classes folder. Okay, so let me give this message here. What's the message that I have given in the validator? Error dot username dot invalid. Okay, equal to invalid username. Okay, again, what's another one? Error dot password dot invalid. Just this is the key of the message. Okay, and this key value pair I am mentioning in the properties file. Password is not matching with the username. Okay, now another message is there, which is if you give username at all, if you don't give username at all, then we are rejecting that. Okay, reject if empty. Okay, that means if the username is empty, what do we give? We give an error message like this: username is empty. Okay, understood what we have done here? Just validation utils is used to perform the basic validation. We are executing reject if empty. That means if username is empty, then we will throw this error message. Okay, then we tell that username should not be blank. Okay, now let me restart the server. The server is restarted. Let me close this browser. Let me open another browser. Okay, place it here. Okay, now let me submit first. We should give, just modify this. We should give the bin ID as message source. This bean ID equal to message source, class equal to resource bundle message source. Okay, understood the flow, everybody? How the flow goes? First, when we enter some details in login and submit, first it will check whether there is any validator configured here or not. Is there any validator configured? Yes, it is login validator. It will come to the login validator. Okay, in the login validator, first it will check. Okay, if the username is empty. If the username is empty, okay, let me give the username as empty and submit. Okay, just it's telling like username should not be blank. Okay, again. Let me enter a valid username. Okay, sorry, let me enter a valid username, Ravi, and click on submit. What's doing? It's telling that username is correct, but password is not matching with the username. Then username correct and password is correct. Then it is submitting the form. Okay, and how this is happening is through the validation framework. Okay, just we'll come to the validate method. First, if the username is empty, then we are rejecting the form. Else, if the username is not a valid username, is not a correct username, then we are rejecting the value. Else, okay, if password is not equal to the correct password, we are rejecting the value. If this validation passes, then only the control will come to the login controller. The control will come to the login controller only when, okay, all these validation are passed. Okay, this is how we can implement the server side validations. Understood? Understood, everybody? Got the clarity? Just you can practice these things. Okay, just I'll have a copy of this. Anyhow, we will not touch this now. Okay, just Sharath will share the example. If you have any doubts, have a look at the example. You can get the exact clarity. Okay, just try to get the flow from where to where it is linked. How the JSP is linked. How the HTML components of the JSP are linked to the command class, and how the command class is generated. A command class, where the command class object is created, and how the validation can be done, and where we can configure the validator to the specific controller. Okay, if the validation is failed, how we can send a message, and where the messages are configured, and how we can configure the properties files. Okay, all these are important. In a single flow, you can learn everything. Okay, if you are able to practice a single flow, you can learn several things: how to generate a validator, how to generate a controller, okay, how to bind a command class to a form, okay, and how to generate the validation errors, how to capture the validation messages on the UI. All these things you can learn in one example. Okay, try to practice those things. Okay, don't copy and paste in your workspace. Observe that, try to practice them. Okay. Next thing is, we have seen multi-action controller. Okay. Just what exactly multi-action controller means? If we want to perform multiple actions on the same command object. If you want to perform multiple actions on the same command object, okay, rather than creating multiple controllers. Okay, if you want to perform multiple actions on the same command object. Rather than creating multiple controllers, we go with only one controller. In order to perform multiple actions on the same command object, rather than going for multiple controllers, we go with a single controller with multiple methods. Okay, a single controller with multiple methods. Now, let's consider like I have a person object, I have a person project class. Let me remove logging related stuff. I have a person project class with ID and name. Okay, what my requirement is, I have a JSP page and I have 4 links. Okay, I have a JSP page and I have 4 links. One is to add the person, second one is to update the person, third one is to delete the person, fourth one is to search for person. Okay. Now when I click on add person, okay, it should go to a specific method. When I click on update person, it should go to a specific method. When I click on delete person, it should go for a specific method. When I click on search for person, it should go for a specific method. And are those 4 hyperlinks having the same URL? Those 4 hyperlinks are having the same URL or different URL? The URL is different. Okay, one is action type equal to address person. Okay, what is this? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Huh? Query string. What query string will carry? Request? Sending the request parameters. Okay. Each and every key value pair in the query string will go as a request parameter. Even forgot this? Did not remember? Then why you could able to tell? Each and every parameter, each and every key value pair in the query string will go as a request parameter to the server. Okay? It will go as a request parameter. This will go as a request parameter to the server. Okay? Now these 4 URLs are different URLs. These 4 URLs are different URLs. Okay? Then, but the base URI is the same. URL is the combination of URI plus query string. Okay? But the URI is the same, right? person.2. The URI is the same. The URL is a combination of URI plus query string. The URI is the same. That means even though the URL is different, the URI is the same. But are we performing the same? Are we performing the actions? Are we performing these 4 actions on the same command object? Are we performing these 4 actions on the same command object? Yes, the same command object person. So rather than having 4 different controllers for these 4 different actions, even though we have 4 different URLs, the action that we are doing is on the same command object. Even though 4 different URLs and 4 different actions, we are performing the action on the same command object. So rather than having 4 different controllers, we have a single controller in which each and every method performs a specific action. One method performs add person, one method performs update action, one method performs delete action, and another method performs search action. Okay? Now we write a controller, person controller, which is a multi-action controller. Okay? Which has 4 methods. One is add person, update person, delete person, search for person. Okay, these are 4 different controllers, and these 4 different controllers, okay, has 4 different these are 4 different methods in the controller, and each and every method is used for some specific action or some specific purpose. Now, how we can map a specific URL with a specific method in the controller in multi-action controller means there are method name resolvers. If you see in the XML file, okay, we have, it's not method resolver, it is method name resolver. Okay, just we have method name resolvers. Okay, in the controller itself, we configure this can be any name. The idea of method name resolver can be any name. I am giving as prop. But here in the controller, the name should be method name resolver. This name can be this ID. The method name resolver ID can be anything. But in the controller, the property name should be method name resolver. Ref equal to, we are referring to some external field. Understand? Okay. Now in the method name resolver, we have n number of method name resolvers. One of the method name resolver. What the method name resolvers will do means the method name resolvers will resolve to which method the control should go for the specific URL. The method name resolvers will map the URLs to the methods of the multi-action controller. Okay? The method name resolvers will map the URLs to the methods in the multi-action controller. Method name resolver will map the method names to the URLs. That means the method name resolvers will map the URL to the specific method in the controller. How the mapping between a URL and a method name in a multi-action controller will be done means through method name resolvers. There are multiple method name resolvers. One of the method name resolver is parameter method name resolver. Okay. Now in the parameter method name resolver, there is a property named param name. There is a property named param name. It should be param name itself. And the value is some value. Let's consider like the value is action type. The value is action type. Then what Spring will do means Spring will search for a request parameter with the name action type. Now while clicking on this URL, let's consider like I click on add person URL. When I click on add person URL, okay, do I have any request parameter with the name action type? Do I have any request parameter with the name action type when I click on add person? Yes or no? Yes, there is a request parameter with the name action type. The param name tells the request parameter name. What should be the request parameter name? Which maps? What is the request parameter name? Which maps the URL to the method name? Okay. Now, what is the request parameter name? Action type. Now, do we have any request parameter with the name action type when I click on this link? Yes. The value is add person. So that means when I click on this link, the control will go to add person. Understood? Okay. The properties, the parameter method name resolver will resolve the method name or will map the URL to the method name based on the request parameter. Parameter method name resolver will map the URL to the method of the controller based on the request parameter. What is the request parameter name means? We configure as a param name. In the parameter method name resolver, we have a property named param name. In the param name, we configure the request parameter. What is the request parameter? That corresponds to the method name for this URL in the multi-action controller. Understood? As per this request parameter, whatever the request parameter value it might be. Okay. Now I am giving the action type as add person. So what Spring will do means Spring will try to find a method with the name add person inside person controller. Now do we have add person inside person controller? Yes. So Spring will execute that method. Understood? Understood everybody? Or is there still any confusion? What man? Confusion? Huh? What happens? First, in multi-action controller, we have multiple methods for each and every URL. Let's consider in this case, I have a link add person. Okay. I have another link update person. I have another link delete person. Let's consider the URL for add person is person.group action type to add person. This is your URL. Now understood how this URL will be? This is called as URL. Okay? This is called as query string. The whole thing is called as URL. Okay? Now the query string values will go as request parameters to the server. Okay? Now the string configuration, what we are configuring is first we are configuring a controller. We are equal to login controller. Okay? That's equal to some login controller. Okay? In this green login controller green configuration, I am giving another property. I am giving a property name equal to method name is also direct equal to prop method name. See, for each and every multi-action controller, there should be a property with the name method name resolver. By making use of method name resolver only, the URL will be mapped to a specific method in the controller. Now in the controller, I have four methods. Add person, okay, update person, just as a two methods, and delete person. So I have two methods. Then how this URL will be mapped to a specific controller in Spring? Now I have this URL, right? Now the URL is person.do #. Second one is person.do action type equal to update person. Okay, person.do action type is person. Okay, now how this URL, when I click on this URL, let's consider I click on the URL add person. It should go to the method add person of the web browser. Okay, but how this mapping will be done is through a method name resolvers. The method name resolvers are used to map the URLs to the methods in the multi-action calculator. Understood? Now, if I let me come together. Prop method name resolver. Okay, class equal to something properties method name resolver. Okay, now in this class we give a property name equal to action type. The property name equal to current name. Value equal to action type. Now, how the flow happens is, let's consider like the user clicks on app. Now, which URL is configured? Person.do. Okay, person.do means it will go to the Spring configuration file. The Spring configuration file to which URL the person.do is configured?